Hey guys, my name is Savannah and I'm a motion graphics artist in the advertising industry. Today I want to talk to you about how I became a successful full-time creative and why I want to switch from animation to professional illustration and children's books. I've loved making art ever since I was a kid, but I did move around a lot, so I think all of that art has been lost, or it was just really bad so my parents didn't keep it. In middle school, I moved to Asia and was enrolled in a private international school where I made a ton of friends, which had not been the case before, and because I was socializing so much, I stopped drawing. So this is the only piece I made during my time in Malaysia, which is sad for my art skills, but I had so much fun so I don't regret it. In 10th grade, I had to move back to the US, and I was very depressed. It was a huge culture shock, and I felt like an outcast, but this did push me to get back into art because I had no friends. I decided to enroll in the IB program, which is similar to the AP program, but they say it's more focused on critical thinking and world awareness. I think I just chose it because it had more flexibility to do the art that I wanted compared to the AP program. So this is my IB art journal, and we had to do a lot of extensive research before we were allowed to make a final piece, and I think we were required to make one final piece a month at least. It was a lot of work. As you're about to see, my work is very dark and somber because I was having a bad time, but I really grew a lot during these 2 years, and even though my style was very different in high school, I think you'll see some common motifs that I still draw today, like people with their animal or mythological partners. I also got into digital art and did my first digital paintings for this class. They were very bad and very airbrushed looking. I used the airbrush for so long and I regret it, but there's a huge improvement by the time I get to the end of this little high school gallery. So I did have to submit my entire 2-year portfolio to be graded for college credit, and it was graded on a scale of 7 and I got a 6, which is pretty good. By the time college applications rolled around, I had convinced myself that I wouldn't get a scholarship trying to go to an art school and I didn't want to be in debt, so I decided to go straight to community college and get an associate's in fine art. I did this as kind of a breather for me to think about what I wanted to major in because at that point I didn't think it was possible for me to make a stable living as an artist, and I didn't realize there were tons of different avenues I could take that weren't necessarily fine art and making money from selling art in gallery shows. After a year at this community college, I decided to transfer to a university to major in arts and technology. Despite what the name would suggest, there was no fine art or drawing for the most part, and it was focused on video production, sound design, and feature film animation, like for Pixar movies. So through trial and error, I eventually landed on video editing, and I did get an internship my sophomore year and ended up getting a full-time offer once I graduated. I was super proud of myself for getting a salary position in a creative field right out of college, but within a year I was already getting burnt out. I was spending most of my time working late, editing interviews from businessmen and corporations, and it was very creatively unfulfilling. I decided to pivot into motion design because it is very connected to video editing, and I figured I would still get to leverage my experience to keep a similar salary. This meant I had to learn After Effects, which I had tried once in college and avoided it like the plague after because I hated it so much. So instead I started out learning 3D motion graphics in Cinema 4D, and I watched hundreds of hours of YouTube videos in my downtime. Eventually I did circle back to learning After Effects, and I did that through School of Motion, which is probably the best online learning resource for motion graphics. I enrolled in their animation bootcamp course, and with the work from that class and work I had put together from teaching myself 3D, I put together my first demo reel and started applying to jobs. I actually got the first job I interviewed for, and that's the job I'm still at today. It's been an amazing job to give me more creative freedom and grow as a professional, but the advertising industry is extremely fast-paced and stressful. A lot of times you're making creative content for products or services you might not agree with or like, so that can be really creatively draining. Also, I want to put a disclaimer that if someone from my work is watching this, I still want to work there, I still like my job, please don't fire me. I think we all know I want to do illustration. So anyway, this job has been a lot better for me creatively, and as a result I started drawing again after taking such a long break once I transferred to university. I I think the first post on my artist Instagram is in 2019, and as you can see, my work is way brighter and happier than high school, and I think that's just because of my emotional state. But I did see a lot of character work starting to pop up, and I started getting suggestions from people, family, friends, that I should do children's books. This piece is why I started taking illustration seriously as a career. It's the first piece I spent 30 plus hours on since high school, really, and I was really proud I could produce something like this after so many years off, and most importantly, I just had a lot of fun making it without a lot of stress. So this is the point in my Instagram where I started taking art the most seriously I probably ever have. I was drawing consistently, I was putting my work out there through Instagram challenges, I was asking professional illustrators to review my portfolio. I paid them, obviously. And while I don't have a gigantic Instagram following, I do think the art I've put out is consistently getting better, and I'm really proud of the direction that I'm going. My current goals are to continue growing my social media presence, hopefully get a freelance illustration job within the next year, and ideally match my income of my current job with illustration and hopefully YouTube at some point. I don't know when that will happen, but at this point, I know I can do it because I've already done it twice with two professions that I was not nearly as passionate about as I am for illustration. I don't know why it took me 27 years to finally feel like I can pursue what I want. My path has been super winding, and I know a lot of other people struggle with this too, so I hope this video has encouraged you to take a step in the direction you truly want to go in and not the direction you think will be safest. And I hope you all stick with me while I try to become a professional illustrator. Until next time, okay, bye!